One of the privileges in sitting with people day in and day out is that I get to learn from observing experience. And I sit with a lot of people who've experienced a fair amount of trauma, stress, failure, you name it. A pattern has emerged that I will share with you. Sometimes people who've experienced massive, horrific levels of trauma have somehow, out of that trauma, developed into amazing, inspiring individuals that have a lot to contribute to the planet. I've also observed the opposite. There are people for whom trauma shapes them into something like the worst parts of themselves. Toxic, destructive kinds of individuals on the planet. And I ask the question, what's the difference? What's the relevant difference between the two groups of people? I suspect BDNF can function a little bit like a picture of what's going on other levels, other than just physiologically what's going on. You know, the things that increase BDNF all have this theme of calling a person out of themselves, out into the world to explore, to develop, to change, to learn, to grow. Those are all the kinds of things that increase BDNF. And I think this can function like a picture for us in the same way on other planes. You know, when you've experienced trauma, if your response is to continue in the same patterns and not leave yourself on some levels, not grow, then you might atrophy and regress, such that you end up the person who hasn't developed. But if rather you respond in a different kind of way, the same thing that would raise your BDNF levels on a physiological level, and you decide to adapt and change and seek out other people who can help you do that, and embrace this opportunity that's calling you out of yourself, then there's potential that you can become that amazing, inspiring person who is wise, even. John O'Donohue has this quote that I love, where he says, "A life that continues to remain on the safe side of its own habits and repetitions, that never engages the risk of its own possibility, remains an unlived life." I love that. We all, I think, are called to engaging the risk of our own possibility, which involves being open to change, being open to how we might have to adapt given the trauma that happened, given the failure when we thought we were on some particular trajectory in life, and all of a sudden we realize we're on a different path, and now the world is upside down. I mean, I've been there. World upside down, and what the temptation is. You want to go in the cave, you want to hide, you want to bury your head in the sand, you want to say, here, not explore, not change, not grow. And that change and that exploration and that growth and that shifting outside ourselves is how we get to be on the path to be that person who is inspiring and amazing and really contributing something to the planet. So I think that's the distinction. Risking and engaging in the risk of your own possibility. That's all I have to say about that. Thanks for tuning in.